we have another special guest with us, a great chiropractor practicing in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. He's a graduate from Chiropractic Institute of NYC.
Absolutely, New York
Class
Chiropractic
of,
College.
is it 67, I believe? Class 67?
We were the class of 67, yes.
67? Nice,
God,
nice.
Can you imagine that?
No, I can't.
Class of 67.
Bobby's a board member here at New Beginnings from the very beginning, is that
From
right?
the beginning, 1991, we started New Beginnings.
Nice.
Actually, we started it before, but we actually, I'm looking out to the people out there, and I see someone that I love very much. I
Very
think he's
big
coming.
deal.
He's kind of a big deal, isn't
He's
he?
actually a very, very important person, and he's taking a selfie with me, and it was just.
And now you gave it away who it is.
Oh, yeah.
Now you'll see it.
Say selfie.
You'll see it on your Facebook eventually.
In 10
I love
minutes.
you, man. Anyway, 1991 was our initial big seminar, but we had been going to Jim's office before that. In fact, I spoke at Jim's office probably in the late '80s because he used to have these weekly Monday nighters, you know. And it started about 8:30 after office hours, and would just keep going, you know. So it was pretty cool, you know. But '91 was when we first started this type of seminar, and it's been enormous. I mean, really enormous.
And what makes, I mean, for people who are at home or wherever they are, they're not here.
Of course. Why aren't you here?
Exactly.
You should be here.
And what can you tell them? What makes New Beginnings different from other gatherings?
Well, I got to tell you, I just said
should
this
they be
because
here?
I just spoke and just came off the stage about maybe 20 minutes ago. And one of the things that I said, and basically, if you're listening to me out there, is New Beginnings is a motivational, an inspirational, an educational group of people. This seminar is really not a seminar. We call it a philosophical weekend. But more than that, the most important thing we have, besides the greatest inspirational speakers and the greatest motivational speakers, and such great education within our scope of what we think of as chiropractic, which is vertebral subluxation correction. In that scope, we also have the best fellowship you can get in planet Earth. And so this is I call this my chiropractic world, and this is the center of my chiropractic world is New Beginnings. It's amazing. And everybody hugs everybody, and everybody loves everybody, and we're all on the same page chiropractically, and we want you to be here. If you have a like-minded individuals, you got to be here. Got to be here.
We're speaking with Bobby Tarantino, guys, and if you have any questions for Bobby, use our chat box right on the website, or use hashtag IFCO if you're chatting with us through Twitter. We have a couple good questions for you. What's the vibe going on this weekend? What's going on?
Well, you know
at
what,
New Beginnings?
we had discussed this as a board, the chiropractic group, we call ourselves a board, it's seven couples, and we do everything with husbands and wives, you know. We feel that's very important. It's a family as a unit, the New Beginning unit, if you want to call it that, but we also have our own individual family units that are part of the leadership of this group. So we have 7 couples that make decisions here. Of course, the grand poobah is my man Jimmy Dubell and Barbara Dubell, who really do most of the work. We're just really here to assist them and try to advise them when they want advice, you know, and we do it. So what we're here, you asked what makes this.
What's the vibe?
Yeah,
What's the vibe here?
Yeah, the
well,
atmosphere.
I was getting to that. What we had discussed the last board meeting we had was, and we had a board meeting just before this weekend started. We discussed success. We want people to recognize, you out there, to recognize that you don't need all of the gizmos and the gadgets in practicing chiropractic. It's not chiropractic. The only thing that really is chiropractic is the analysis, the detection, of course, and the correction of vertebral subluxation, because it exists and because human beings do not express their inner perfection very well when there's interference to the nervous system through the subluxation. So
Amen to
that's
that.
that's what chiropractic is, and people have the wrong idea about that. They think that they need all the gizmos and the gadgets and the physical therapy and all. They want to do everything, including surgery and using medication. And we're going to tell you that quite honestly, you can make a hell of a living You can be tremendously successful, and obviously you're going to be loved by your community and by your practice members. That's given. But you can you can have a wonderful life, a really wonderful life, by just correcting vertebral subluxations for every man, woman, and child on the face of this earth. You don't need all the
gifts. It's the best life.
You don't need it's easy.
No.
I don't know why they want to make it so hard.
Right?
It's cheap too. I got to tell you. I always tell people you can go and practice. I could set you up in practice just a couple of maybe $2,000. If you want to put an X-ray unit in, it's another couple of thousand. I mean, you don't need all these machines and fancy tables. You just need two great hands, a good mouth to tell a story.
Yes.
That's all you need.
And you know, some of those, I think the machines and whatnot, the fancy stuff around it, people want to look good to their patients or practice members. But once you open your heart to those people, they don't care about anything else around that.
Absolutely.
You know?
And they don't want it. I'll be honest with you.
And that's what they feel.
I've seen patients many times will say, I'm going down to Florida and I need to get an adjustment, right? While I'm down there. And I say, all right, well, you have that chiropractor call me or whatever. I said, but more importantly, just go in there and tell me you want an adjustment. They'll love that.
Mm-hmm.
Just check out my spine, see if I have any vertebral subluxation and correct them. And many times they'll come back and they'll say, well, this guy tried to put a machine on me. I wanted to do heat, or he wanted to do ice, or he wanted to thump me, massage me. And I would say, just give me an adjustment. That's what Dr. Bob Tarantino does, and that's all I want. And the chiropractor says, you mean you don't want all this stuff? No, that's not chiropractic. And they're amazed.
Yes.
Yeah.
The people the chiropractors that are out there are amazed that there are people who actually just give adjustments.
Yeah.
I'm in the Poconos, so obviously I have the snowbirds too that go
Absolutely.
down to Florida for the winter. And my practice members who go to chiropractors there, they go and hug their chiropractors after the adjustment because that's what I do. And the chiropractors sometimes are really floored. So now I've heard of chiropractors in Florida starting to hug people because it was brought to them from the Poconos.
From one of your patients. That's great.
She's like, well, I hugged them and they weren't expecting it. I'm like, well,
I do. I also hug all my people, and it's even the truck drivers. It's just the way it is. I mean, it's part of the adjustment.
Yes.
It's the greeting. The greeting is a hug, and when I'll see you next week, it's a hug, and they expect it. They look for it.
Yep.
And not many people. People need a hug more.
Yeah.
And need a hug more.
I do tell people at times that the hug makes the adjustment work.
It does.
That's kind of like
You said you look like you're going to ask me something.
Okay.
You know what? Well, we have fans out there.
Okay, fans.
Who are asking
fans.
questions, and so one popped up, and so let's ask it. So, fan of IFCO wants to know, how has New Beginnings changed over the last 20 years?
Oh, wow. It's gotten bigger. It's gotten, I would say, more polished in that we really work on time. I mean, we're sticklers for that. Mm-hmm. We've created a lot of innovations that other groups in the world have emulated, quite honestly. We started the 20-minute talk, for example.
Right.
No one had people go up and speak for 20 minutes, and we started that 20-minute talk because we found that the attention span of people in that audience, it goes away after 20 minutes. So we innovated is one of the answers I would give you is that we've created so many innovations over the years to make this a better experience.
Yeah, and I love that 20 minutes. The speaker is up there.
Oh my God. He
fire,
gives you
fire,
his
fire,
bingo
inspiring.
and she turns your life around, and then thank you very much, and who's next?
Yes.
And it's just like bang, bang.
It's like
bang.
all day long.
Yeah, and it's all day and all night, and
all night. Banquet tonight.
Oh, tonight we're rocking and rolling,
We are
aren't
going
we?
to have fun.
This is going to be the best banquet we've ever had. I got to tell you, it's a Halloween banquet, of course. Everybody's going to be dressed up and crazy.
2 years ago, everybody was dressed up, and I was
The
blown
group.
away.
Did you notice that the group that was playing had never ever experienced a group of people who were so into having a good time as our group? They went crazy. And I remember many years ago we had a fellow by the name of Felix Rodriguez who used to come from Puerto Rico, he and his sons. And he looks like Santana. He does. He looks like Santana. The beard, the whole thing. He had a bandana on that night, and he went off stage, and he got a set of conga drums, and he just rocked with this group. And we did Evil Ways, Santana, and people were just going crazy. Well, that's what we do. We let our hair down. Some of us, right?
We can.
We let our hair down, and we really enjoy ourselves, and that's really what's going to happen tonight.
Oh, yes.
So that's another thing we've done. We find that fellowship is vitally important in a group.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not just the meeting; it's the fellowship surrounding the meeting, ongoing. I find it's like, for me, it's like a family reunion, and I look forward to it. We have them 3 times a year. I look forward to it 3 times a year.
Yeah, I remember a couple, and guys at home and gals, if you want to check out some of the pictures from the last Halloween festival, just go to the New Beginnings Facebook page.
Sure.
You'll be able to find quite a few pictures that they post up there, and I think this night is going to be
Oh yeah, you're going to see some posts.
pretty crazy.
We've got NB.
Keep an eye
Also, you
on
can go to
Facebook.
Yeah.
nbchiro.com. nbchiro.com is a great venue for getting all the information about our upcoming seminars, and also you'll have pictures on there as well.
Yep.
But we have always have the group page, you know,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
my baby. That's my baby.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Lawsuit.
No kidding. Sam, and that's okay.
You're
That's
making Bryn
that's
blush,
a
Bobby.
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
We
It's just
actually we actually can kid each other that way.
Yeah.
And still love each other. He was a great football player. He doesn't smile a lot. I can make him laugh a lot. Okay, and I can make him laugh till he cries.
Right.
Not many people can do that. Because Sam is a very stoic kind of guy. He's a tough guy. He's the Italian stallion. He is. He gets up at 5:30. 5:30 every morning, people. Think about this. This man is 61, 62, 63. He's 10 years. He's 10 years younger than me. So he's 61 years of age. And at 61 years of age, he's got a 32-inch waist. He's got a 47-inch chest. He's got no body fat on him. He's up at 5:30 every morning, pumping
but
iron.
now I'm calculating that makes you
71.
Said, no way.
Yeah,
No.
I'm 71. I just turned 71 August 31st.
Oh my goodness.
I've been in practice 46 years. I've been in
Wow.
chiropractic now.
Chiropractic works. Say
Yeah,
that right
it
here.
does. I'm a product of the product. I get adjusted once a week, and I have for the last 45 years, 46 years. So, don't go for symptomatology either. I just go because I want to get my spine in check, make sure that subluxations are correct, so my body
course.
functions at the highest level. And Sam is my chiropractor, of course, obviously, because we see each other and I'm his, you know.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he's out there, and his body is amazing. I mean, I hate walking on a beach with him, to be honest with you, because he's such a big guy. One day he looked pretty sad to me. I said, "What's the matter, Sam?" He says, "I lost 5 pounds." I said, "Yes." He said, "Yeah." When a bodybuilder loses 5 pounds, that's like a time to cut their wrist, you know.
Right.
He's natural, obviously. I mean, there's nothing unnatural about this guy. He doesn't take aspirins, no drugs, no aspirins, natural health care. He walks the walk and talks the talk. And he's an Italian stallion. He's a Jersey guy. He's a Jersey guy.
Right.
And I know that, Sam, if you get to see this, Sammy, you know I love you, number one. Number two, I know that you'll check 6 from now until the day I die. And checking 6 means you check my back and make sure that I'm safe and sound. And he promised me, I said, if anything ever happened to me, Sammy, you promise me that you'll make my honey okay. You'll take care of her. And he promised me that, and I promised him that, the same thing. So that's the kind of relationship we have.
Yeah.
He cuts, I bleed.
Right.
That's the way it is.
That's brothers.
We are brothers, and I hope he said equally as nice things about me. And if he didn't, Sammy, you're going to get the knuckle sandwich, Sammy.
He told us a little story how you went flying over a planter and you didn't quite make it.
That was in DE. Oh, my
And
God.
that was the start of your friendship.
Oh, that was. Did he tell you how it
It ruined your pants.
ruined my pants? But how he turned around and he said, all of a sudden I had clogs on. In those days we wore clogs.
Oh, my God.
Back, they were like backless heels, okay?
Yeah.
And he said, "You're gonna jump. I bet you can't jump over that." I says, "Buck." He says, "Buck." So he kept walking. He didn't think I was gonna do this. And this planter is big. I mean, it's big, and I didn't realize how big it was until I tried to jump over it. And at that time, we're talking 20-some-odd years ago, so I was still, up in years, And he says he turns around and he hears this, and here I am running down, and he says I jump, and it looked like the vacuum cleaner
That's
sucked
exactly
me right
what he
into,
said.
and he laughed his ass off. And I fell into the pots. I had pots stuck on my feet.
Oh, that's what he said. It broke.
And he laughed and laughed. That's one of the times I made him laugh.
The tape around there. Yeah.
I almost broke my legs, but
Oh my
he was
goodness.
laughing.
And nobody was there with the cell
It was
phone
like no, it was
taping it
well,
on
it
your
was just
tube.
before.
I know, but
Yeah, that was.
can you recreate that, please?
We should no.
We should set up a nice planter here. And
Well,
say,
that same weekend, it's funny. That same weekend we had gone. This was down in Atlanta. This is when we used to go to DE. I was a big DE supporter for many years. I started when I was in 1968.
Right.
And Sid Williams was one of my mentors, as was Reggie Gold, as you know. And anyway, that weekend I'll never forget it. We used to wear white pants, and we went to this place for barbecue, right? And I'm sitting at the barbecue, and I was there with John Hoffman and Jimmy Gregg and some of the really great chiropractors from Michigan and New Jersey, Bob Satilli. And we're sitting there, and everybody's passing barbecue, around, taste this, taste that, here's some more sauce. And I had white pants on, and unbeknownst to me, I was in the crease of the table, okay? So there was two tablecloths going together. And so when I stood up,
oh my goodness.
I had a red streak of gravy up my whole leg.
Oh my goodness.
Like in a perfect circle, like a pencil mark.
Oh my goodness.
That was the first pair of pants I ruined, and the second pair was probably that night when I tried to jump over the potted plant.
Oh my goodness.
So what's going on?
It looks like we have another question here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh no. Oh, over here.
Okay.
How has chiropractic professional development changed over 20 years due to practice changing over time?
Well, not on my watch. All right. I mean, the bottom line is that we do our thing. It doesn't develop. We hope we will grow back in chiropractic to what it's intended to be, which is just giving chiropractic adjustments just because they exist and they're not good for you. Make it real simple. And so whatever's going around outside that realm, quite honestly, we don't change our ways. I mean, we do our thing, and we speak our truth, and we lead by example, and we don't let that influence us. In fact, we talk against it if we can to people who may be expanding the scopes, to show them that perhaps what they're doing is not in the best interest of our profession. Right. In a diplomatic, I've never been nasty about this. Maybe in the old days I was, but I've mellowed with years. And in a diplomatic way, we try to explain to people that it's ruining our profession by changing it. So, in fact, that's one of the things I was going to talk about, which I never did get. Change. You change a little. Exponential when you move out from that source of point of divergent lines, the point is where we should be, and when you change just a little bit at the point, years in the future, the lines in the future are going to be far apart.
Right.
Okay, so we lose our
changes,
reason.
divergence.
We lose what we're all about.
Right.
So no, I don't change. I don't think we should change.
And I agree. Good. Thanks for asking that question. That was a great question, guys. Keep them coming. Bob, so who did you hear, or who inspired you this weekend from the stage? Was there anything?
So far, we have a lot more to come.
I got to be telling you, I'm sorry that everybody wasn't in a room with Tony DeMarco.
Right.
Tony DeMarco and I, as you know, worked very closely together in straight chiropractic over the years.
Yeah.
And we were both part of the founding board of chiropractic examiners in the state of New Jersey. So we were on the board of examiners, and we actually when we wrote the scope of practice, it was a straight chiropractic scope, and we worked very hard to influence the people outside of that straight chiropractic community within the board. To give us the ability to keep it subluxation correction. And so when he speaks, he has a wonderful way of presenting things. And I thought today, when he spoke, he was so right on. I thought it was the best talk he's ever given.
Wow.
And hopefully, unfortunately, we don't tape anymore.
Yeah.
We used to tape them. We used to make DVDs and CDs, and we don't do that anymore. But that was one, and Tony inspires me. He always inspires me anyway.
Right.
Right.
We should have him on a guest.
Seen that, yeah.
We should have him as a guest.
Oh my gosh.
On the show.
Have him. He'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Who else? Oh God. Everybody. I mean, everybody's got their.
Right.
Everybody's got their truth.
Last night was pretty fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, Liam. I mean, come on. Liam is. He's changing the world. And I love him.
He really is.
He's
and
out.
He always
He's out
knows
there,
how
man.
to say it right and how to pick the the core of something.
Yeah, and he's tongue in cheek.
Right. Yeah.
When he says I'm a big deal, he is a big deal. But he who's got the commitment that he has? So he inspires me all the time.
And not just the commitment, but
Yeah.
then on top of being such a good communicator. Which
He's a
makes
great
the whole
communicator,
difference.
and you know what? He's got a very understanding wife. I got to tell you, Ning, and the children. But I'll tell you something else. He may travel, but boy, quality time with that family.
Oh, yeah.
That's a 24/7 unit when he's around, and he's around a lot. I mean,
Right.
he's traveling. He could travel to Lima, Peru, and come back in the next day. I mean, one day down, one day back. So I mean, he commits himself to doing things like that.
He's going over to Thailand the day that he comes back. He's flying to Peru, and then he's as soon as he comes back from there, he's flying out to California.
Sure, exactly.
So
and in between, that's when he doesn't take the family, because he takes the family.
Right.
I mean, you'll always see Ning and the children
Yeah.
with him, So they're getting to see the world, but when they're in school, they can't do that. Obviously, he comes back and he's there 110%. So who inspires me? Liam Schubel, the Schubelator.
And
he
Ning
is-
being the supporting backbone to that.
and
like you had said.
Ning is absolutely, she is, and she's a wonderful girl. She's a wonderful girl.
I've had an opportunity to go down to the Shore House down
did
there.
you?
Yeah, Liam, Jim Dubell, Tony
Yeah.
DeMarco, they all
They all
live
have
right
there.
next to one another.
Absolutely.
Like right on the beach.
They're right on the bay, actually.
Yeah,
They're
right
right
on
on
the
the
bay,
bay, Bay Beach, absolutely.
Overlooking the lighthouse. Yeah, it's nice.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
And I know he'll invite all of you down there. So
Oh, yeah, you
we're
know
gonna
what?
go down there for a big party. I'm gonna
Just
arrange
knock
it right
on their
now. We're just
door.
gonna show up.
Just knock on their door.
Awesome.
I'm here. Let's have
Liam
a
will bring
barbecue.
chocolate when I'm coming.
Yes.
Don't worry.
You love chocolate?
He loves chocolate.
You love
And I
chocolate.
do
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
You know where I was?
Liam loves chocolate.
This about 4 weeks ago now. We were in Amsterdam.
Oh, wow.
And then we went from Amsterdam to Luxembourg.
I saw that
and
on
then
Facebook.
From
You were
I
posting
was
it.
giving you my little trip. We do that on Facebook. And then we ended up in Brussels.
Oh, wow.
And you want to take chocolate. So there was shop after shop after shop of Belgium chocolate. And of course, I didn't buy any because I could eat the whole thing.
Right.
So I just walked in the shop, and they would say, "Oh, would you like to taste some of our chocolate?" Well, okay, I'll just have one.
If I must.
And then I went to the next store. Would you like to taste one of our chocolate? I must have eaten about 10,000 pounds
my
of chocolate.
goodness.
Very amazing,
But
though.
it's so good. I love chocolate.
Yeah.
Too, huh?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you.
I don't buy it, though.
I tell you, we have figured out there will be a chocolate contest at we figured at Lyceum this year at Sherman, because
Cool.
Danny Knowles from
Okay.
Colorado talks about his Mile High chocolate,
Oh.
and I am talking about my German European chocolate. So
No comparison. You
now
win.
now we will have a contest, and Liam and Frank and maybe Dr. Ed Cordero will
Okay.
be the judges. So
Can I judge?
yeah,
'Cause I'm
we'll have
coming.
you
All
over.
right. Yeah.
I know. I
More
got
the
somebody on
merrier.
my
Yep.
side already.
Alright.
I'm on your side because
The four of us will judge.
I got to tell you, I went to Lyceum for the first time.
Wasn't it fantastic this last
It was my
year?
first time.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a long story, and it's not worth it. But I was always wanted to be invited there. I was never really looked to be invited there. And when I finally got invited there and spoke there, I was honored. Speak at Lyceum.
Under the big top. I was
Under
there.
the big top. And I was blown away. It was just a most wonderful fellowship. Talk about
Yeah.
fellowship and eating together, lunch times together, and the students are just so enthusiastic. And the school, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm very. I joined, by the way, as you
Right.
know, I became a regent, right?
Nice.
Yes, fantastic at
Evelyn and I.
Sherman. Thank you for that.
And it's going to get my full support because it's a wonderful, wonderful chiropractic experience. And I never trust anybody, so I went into the clinic,
Yep.
because I'm from the
The
old
health
school.
center.
Right.
I went into the health center, and I started to go room to room. There was nobody there, Evelyn and I, and I was opening cabinets, looking around, and I found nothing except chiropractic tables
Right.
and the ability to correct vertebral subluxation. And I
Beautiful,
said,
isn't
whoa, this is my kind of place.
Yes.
And so it's going to get my full support. And
Wonderful.
and I'm going to give you a heads up. I'm giving you a heads up.
Listen up.
This is something amazing is going to happen from Bobby Tarantino. Hopefully within the next 6 months. that will relate to Sherman, and it'll make.
Look
I'm
for
sure
it.
it'll make big news.
Oh,
All
wow.
right.
Looking
Well,
forward
thank you
to
for
that.
that.
So I'm giving you a heads up.
All
You
right.
know, I felt like that Lyceum. I went to Sherman, so I always had my Sherman chiropractic family. But being in South Carolina and I'm up in the Poconos, I then grew my New Beginnings family.
Okay.
I would come here. And I never met the DE people.
Okay.
You know, that's just a group I was never
Yeah.
part of. And this year, being at Lyceum, I had my Sherman family, of course. For the first time, I felt like my New Beginnings family was at
Yeah, we
Sherman.
were there, weren't we?
And then I met the DE family.
Sure, from Edwin.
So
Yeah.
yes. So to have those three, it felt like such an amazing, big family reunion gathering. I just
Well, here's the
was
thing.
just elated all weekend.
We're congruent.
Yeah.
Yes, we all belong together.
And we all belong together.
We do.
We belong together. There's a
Yes.
song like that.
Yes.
We belong together, and we belong to a mutual admiration society. You know, that's another song, and we belong together. And for so many years, there's been just that not melding of like minds, but rejecting it, and that's got to stop. For our profession, as we know it, to survive in this world and prosper,
Right.
we have to move together in that direction. And that was the first experience
Right.
of that happening.
Yeah.
That was a turning point in chiropractic history.
So shout out to
That
Dr.
one-
Edwin Cordero for
Edwin.
creating that
Buenos
space
días,
and
Edwin.
that
¿Cómo
place.
está usted? Muy bien.
We love you.
Yes, we love you, Eddie.
See you at
And,
Lyceum, Ed.
Eddie, I really love and appreciate you. I hope you're looking, and if you're not, man,
Oh,
I hope
he will
you
see it on
vid-
YouTube.
You'll see it on YouTube. Eddie, you are going to make a difference in this world, and we love and appreciate you. And of course, we love and appreciate the First Lady, who has really got to put up with you,
Mama
pal,
D, Mama
Mama
C.
D. So, you know, Debbie, baby, you're the best. We love you. Love you.
Bobby, we were at the Global Summit, and they were there, Edwin and his wife, and they were all stars out there too. I got up early in the morning to go on a fishing trip. It must have been like 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
They were out there already, sitting with their laptops, chit-chatting back and forth. I spent like
Well,
20 minutes with
you,
them.
you know that they are they've never had this kind of rock star status. I mean, they're like rock stars.
Yeah.
They should be.
And they should be.
Very well
And
deserved.
we were out in Montana together.
Oh, okay.
And I got to tell you, in fact, Kevin Wilmot, another thing, you got to be watching this. Kevin's a great kid, by the way. He put together a seminar out there, all proceeds going to Sherman.
Great.
And he, in fact, in the last Sherman,
The news from Sherman.
yeah, there's an article about him, Kevin. Anyway, long story short, Edwin and Debbie were out there, and we fellowshiped. So I really got to meet Edwin really up close and personal. I didn't get that much at Lyceum because he's very busy.
He was.
But we actually got that. We actually fellowshiped for like 3 days, and we had so much fun and so much, and we committed again. We committed to going to Montana again, and Kevin's going to be doing that again.
Nice.
And Edwin will be there again.
Edwin and Debbie are such.
And Sam went with me.
They're so personal. My two kids are actually a bit shy, but Dr. Edwin was at my house for just a few minutes before he did a career session at my office, and him and his wife brought some cookies, and they bought a drawing for my 6-year-old son.
I love it.
So they met maybe 10, 15
And they're
minutes,
best
right?
friends, yeah.
You know what? That night, my little Jacob goes, I'm like, so how did you like to, meet the president of Sherman College, Dr. Edwin Cordero? He's like, Mama, I wish he could be my dad. I'm like, what?
Isn't that wonderful?
Well, at least I'm still going, I wish Debbie was my mom. I'm like, over cookies
way.
and a picture. But that's how good they are at making relations with people.
Yeah. And I met his daughter too. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
She's a sweetheart. And yeah, great. Just very happy.
So Bob, before we wrap things up, just give
Yeah.
the audience one last thing about why it's important to come to New Beginnings.
I said it from the stage. Rudyard Kipling, great poet, wrote a poem about the wolf pack. And what the essence of the end lines of the poem is, the two last lines is, and the power of the wolf is in the pack, and the power of the pack is in the wolf. Okay? So it sounds like a dichotomy, doesn't it? But as a pack, we can move mountains. And the wolf gets its power from that pack. So if you want to get powerful in chiropractic, you got to be part of a pack. And if we want to move this profession to its rightful spot, we have to be the pack. And New Beginnings, in my humble opinion, is that place where you can get motivated, inspired, educated, and fellowship with some of the greatest chiropractors on the face of this earth, ongoing, because this pack is growing, and you want to be part of that ride. So we love you. Come on out.
Absolutely.
And we love you for doing this. This is wonderful.
IFCO and IFCO-TV is very thankful for New Beginnings being here because this is where we started from. IFCO-TV launched at New Beginnings.
You're doing a great job, you guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
excellent. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
out, Bob.
Thank you.
Once
Love you
again,
very much.
awesome.
Love you too.
Love you. Love you too, man. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that, Bryn.
No, don't worry.
Okay.
Are we good?
I'll be
All right,
squished by
we're
great
good. Yeah.
chiropractors.
Are we
Thanks,
good?
guys. We're going to be back in a couple of minutes with Liam Schubel.
All right.
Thanks a lot.